Hey, how's it going, guys? This is your boy Hazzed, and today on the 8.2 PTR, we're going to be comparing Frost DKs to Unholy DKs. Now, a lot of you guys are wondering which one's going to be stronger and for what reason, and in this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about those. So, let's do this.
It's who we are, it's what we do, we've come so far, and now we pay the price, so don't even cry. The world is breaking down, and I cannot leave the ground.
So for you that watched the video the other day about dueling people on the PTRs, Frost DKs, the clip coming up is going to make a lot of sense for you, and it's going to pull kind of everything together, and then we'll go ahead and discuss it afterwards about Frost DK and Unholy, why one's stronger, why is the other stronger, because I feel like those are the pieces of the puzzle that we're currently missing to kind of situate this. So we're going to be dueling Jawah again as Unholy. It's like a 4-minute clip, and actually right now Jawah pushed up to be the 9th highest ret in 2v2s at the moment in the world, which is absolutely insane. Congratulations, Jawah. I know you'll be watching this later. Alright, so we're going to be dueling Jawah as Unholy, and you'll kind of get the full idea of where Frost DK is obviously lacking and where it's making up for it in terms of self-strength. So, let's do this.
You hurt a lot more. You do like way more damage.
Oh yeah, well mainly it's the effect. So once I get through your bubbles, then the damage just eats you down. Yeah, I think you're gonna need LOS to take me on as Unholy.
Yeah, I gotta cut out the big daddy over there.
You remember all that movement speed that I took earlier? It's gonna be a pain in the ass, dude. Oh no, he stood me. That was a big heal. What was that? Was that a lay on hands?
No, that was a 70k flash of light.
Wow, that was huge, dude.
That was another one.
Oh, did I not kick that? Did I really get kick in the middle of those?
Yeah.
Dang. Oh yeah, jumping down was good too, because you totally reset my pets by doing that. Oh, I can't pet kick. I don't have my pet movements on PTR.
Oh yeah, that would've helped. Okay, I can definitely... It's difficult, but I can heal through the necrotics, but it absorbs so much.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I think that heal saved your life so much, that big one. I couldn't believe how much that did for. Dang, that was a good one too.
Nah, that was the pants.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's why I had to bubble it. Because the pants were going to kill me. The pants are a liability in this match, I think.
They might be. I don't know. I don't think you're going to proc them too often, realistically.
Oh, not the pants. I'm sorry. The belt. The belt.
Oh, gotcha. That could be. I just want to know something, Jawah. Have you tried deleting your cache folder?
Oh shit, don't stun me right here.
Yeah, don't run out there. That wouldn't be good for anybody.
It'll end the match.
I had a feeling you had a way out of that one. Ooh, good one, good one. Oh, come on, that grip was doing the PTR lag thing. Take that.
Yeah. I didn't think I'd be able to beat Unholy.
Yeah, Unholy's too strong, and with the Necros, with the survival duels. So as we can see, Ret versus Unholy is about a 4-minute fight, and I managed to take the win purely off of mechanical slash DPS based, because there are a few duels that I did against him that I gave him a little more leeway at the beginning of the duel instead of upfront bursting. And what happened is, even if I gave him 5 to 10 seconds of extra ramp up time, he would actually pressure me as Unholy into a defensive position, and then he would win. But as Unholy, I have so much more burst strength in comparison to what Frost was doing. I was actually able to force him to play defensive and spend the majority of his holy power on trying to stay alive instead of just bursting my absolute face off, which made the duel slightly easier to survive than it was for the Frost DK, which is a really good thing for us. Not necessarily for him, but for us, it was a good thing. The reason being is because Unholy doesn't have nearly as much healing capability as Frost does. And the reason I know this, obviously, is because the Unholy duel only lasted about 4 minutes, and the Frost DK duel lasted about 15 minutes. And the amount of leeway I had generally as a Frost DK, or doing odd globals, or using something else during a time, or a root, or something like that, the leeway was so much bigger than Unholy DK. Unholy DK, I had to be on him. I had to be stacking necrotics. I had to be converting off death strikes as much as possible just to stay alive, to use that enhanced pressure to actually kill him instead of just surviving for 15 minutes and then, slowly dying off. So where does this put Frost DKs in terms of PvP? Now, I can say this without a doubt that Frost DKs by far are going to be the tankiest class in the entire game for DPS. Like, by far. They're going to be the hardest class to kill just based on the pure amount of rune regen they're going to be able to actually, stack up. Now, I'll show you some of the neck talents that are completely causing this to happen and why Frost DKs are going to be the tankiest class. Obviously, I'm running some tank trinkets there if you're going to be dueling anything like a Ret Paladin. Now, as for the major slot on the next piece, I was using Vision of Perfection, which causes Empower Rune Weapon to randomly proc on based attack skills for 35% of its duration. So essentially, you're getting runic power and runes at an insane rate because of this little neck piece. Now, what was the Paladin using that caused him to be so much more tanky than he usually is on live is they have a neck piece ability that randomly procs wings like a dang machine gun that also increases their burst. It literally is their burst, is their wings, and that also increases their self-survivability and healing capabilities, which was why he was able to last 15 minutes against the Frost DK. Luckily, the majority of classes in PvP don't have nearly as much survivability, so in terms of a Frost DK versus another DPS, we do have slightly lower burst. Obviously, I think Jawah did around 5 million damage during the Frost duel, and I did around like 3.5 million, so I was actually quite a bit behind him when in terms of damage, but that also means I was excessively ahead of him when it became apparent to self-healing. So he has that crazy wings proc that's just causing him to do insane amounts of burst while also healing himself up. The only way I could fight it off, obviously, was playing Unholy with my enhanced burst and the mechanical strength that make it so he couldn't survive through things. Now, as for the second ability that's causing Frost DKs to become the strongest self-healers in terms of DPS in the game, is Memory of Lucid Dreams. Now, this has a 50% chance to refund runic power that you spend on an ability, and then it also heals you for an extra 16,000. So your death strikes are actually healing you for a lot more than they previously were in the patch. So that's kind of like the big circle going on with that duel. Tanking trinkets, running full versatility with Memory of Lucid Dreams and Vision of Perfection to completely just maximize on this survival of a Frost DK. Because there's really going to be no other way to go considering how strong of burst some of the other classes are going to have. Now, in terms of Unholy versus Frost, the average Unholy DK I could definitely beat on my Frost DK, but I gotta say, people that actually know like a high mythic rotation or completely understand necrotic striking continually throughout the duel, like pre-stacking necrotic strikes and then just kind of weaving necrotic strikes in and out after you capped off a lot, is going to be very important when dueling a Frost DK because of the self-survivability and the self-healing capabilities. And the other thing is Unholy DKs can also use the ability Memory of Lucid Dreams. they do not have a Vision of Perfection. Unholy DK's Vision of Perfection raises a ghoul that attacks the target, not necessarily a giant mechanical strength when it comes to dueling, but in terms of DPS it could be fairly good. We haven't been able to test it because it doesn't work quite right yet, and I'm actually kind of excited to try it out. I think it would be pretty cool, at least just to have some extra passive overall damage while you're stacking necrotics. Could be very effective. But in overall terms of survivability, Frost is definitely going to be king. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Now, we need to have a little bit of discussion about Unholy DKs and what was going on with that class. So for an Unholy DK, the only way I could come up to beat Jawah, obviously, was run the same tanking method I was running on my Frost DK, but have a little bit more of damage reduction considering the Trident of Deep Ocean is very strong when it comes to 1v1 situations. Now, as for the major neck talent glyphs that we got going on here, we got Blood of the Enemy. Now, reason being, every other one in comparison just is terrible. Now, it did help increase my DPS by quite a bit, and I was able to burst fairly hard on Jawah considering how much crit damage I was able to deal at the very end of the match. I mean, regardless, I think I would have had it right then, but we got to see the true power of Blood of the Enemy on a target, hitting for 47k on a very high versatility target. This will increase your DPS by quite a bit, increase your consistency, and also give you a little bit of extra attack. Now, the 35% extra critical damage did actually do quite a bit, considering the giant army of mobs you're able to use as Unholy on the target, such as Magus the Undead, your little crypt pets, and of course your big old fat abomination. And of course I talked about the minor glyph Memory of Lucid Dreams being an insane healing capability for Unholy DKs, which is going to make their self-survivability better. Now, Frost being super strong in healing and Unholy being mediocre in healing, why was I still able to beat the Ret Paladin? It was obviously just because of pure damage and mechanical strength. So under that logic, we can simply see Unholy's going to be the more bursty class, going to be the one to be able to land kills, going to be able to secure kills. Frost is going to be the class that you go in with 3 of your friends, you try to focus him down, and he's going to be absolutely unkillable in the battleground. So you got to kind of decide exactly what you want to go for. Do you want to be unkillable, or do you want to be one of the classes that's the best at, killing something? Kind of got to decide there. Now, as for when it comes to duels and 1v1s, there is something I got to say specifically. Is a Frost DK, the way it is right now on 8.2 PTR, the majority of classes won't have nearly as much survivability to keep up with a Frost DK, at least in 1v1 situations. As for arena situations, Frost DK is going to be a lot better than it was. The damage is going to be a lot grindier. The self-survivability is going to be a lot higher, in turn, which is going to allow Frost DKs to reach higher peaks in arena and make it through larger amounts of dampening than other classes will, just because it's consistent. It's a never stop ending of just runes and runic power being thrown at you so you can counter other people's bursts with Death Strike. That's going to be a very strong fundamental for the Frost DK in the future for pushing arena rating. So, summing up this video, which one is stronger, Frost or Unholy? I've got to give it to Unholy, just because they do have a survivability increase, and the offensive pressure they can deal mixed in with the mechanical strength of Necrotic Strike is still going to be stronger than the Frost spec. Now, that being said, if you were to take Frost and, let's say, fight another class that doesn't have nearly as much survivability, Frost is going to easily be able to walk through that target. Frost does have a bit of increased damage, especially if you're using Blood of the Enemy and like Obliteration spec, because that's going to increase your crit chance and also increase the amount of critical strike that you're going to deal. Now, you'll also see in that video yesterday, I dueled a Windwalker and an Unholy DK, and barely survived the Unholy DK. The Windwalker one was definitely a bit easier, even when he was using tank trinkets and stuff like that. But when it comes down to just taking on normal classes as Frost, there's definitely a big damage increase. But why it seemed like I wasn't tickling Jawah very well is obviously because he was having versatility gear, plus tank and trinkets, plus the polearm to reduce the amount of damage taken, plus the insane wings proc. So in terms of how strong Frost DK is compared to what it was, it's a lot stronger than what it was. It doesn't have the burst, but it has an insane amount of consistency that really is just kind of insane in terms of self-survivability and damage. You guys are really going to feel a huge difference in Frost DK coming into 8.2. But I really do still have to give it to Unholy DK, as it did retain the majority of its damage and also increase quite a bit in self-survivability. But overall, again, Frost is going to be king of survivability, and Unholy DK is like king of mechanical pressure, and that's the reason why its survivability was able to overcome the Ret Paladin. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this little sum up of Frost DK versus Unholy DK in PvP in 8.2. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and again, until next time, this was your boy Hazzed.